Hello students, how are you all? Welcome back to our SST class. As we have already started our chapter, so today let me continue with the topic. Today we will start a new topic, that is Macaulay's system of education. The Anglicist Orientalist controversy was put to an end in 1835 when Lord Macaulay's minutes stated that the limited government resources were to be devoted to teach Western science and literature through the medium of English alone. See, under the Macaulay system of education, Persian was abolished as the court language and was substituted by English. The printing of English book was made free and these were available at relatively low price. 42 schools were set up by 1842 and Bengal was divided into 9 educational zones. How many zones? 9 educational school. See students, the Anglicists won the debate when the Council of English India Company accepted the argument of a senior British official, Thomas Babington Macaulay. Macaulay wrote a memorandum is known as Macaulay's Minute, in which he advocated the promotion of Western education in India. This led the Governor General William Bankton to pass a resolution in 1835 known as English Education Act, which formally introduced Western education in India. This is the main motive of Macaulay's system of education. Institutions were set up for higher education where English was made the medium of instruction. Promotion of Oriental institutions such as the Calcutta, Madras, and Banaras Sanskrit College was stopped. In 1844, announcement was made that only English educated Indians could get government jobs. This further reduced the status of vernacular schools. Vernacular schools जो कि हमारे मकताब्स, पाठशालाज और मदरसाज थे ना, उनको बिल्कुल ख़त्म कर दिया गया और मॉडर्न इंग्लिश बेस्ड स्कूल्स और यूनिवर्सिटीज़ जो थी वो सेट कर दी गई. ओके, सो लेट्स मूव टू अनदर टॉपिक, that is Wood's Dispatch 1854. In 1854, Charles Wood prepared a dispatch on an educational system for India. This document was the first comprehensive plan for the spread of education in India and was considered the main recommendations of the dispatch were these. यानी इसमें कुछ बातें लिखी हुई थी. क्या थी वो बातें? Let me discuss. See, according to Wood's dispatch, the government of India was asked to assume responsibility for education of the masses, thus repudiating and downward filtration theory, at least on paper. And the next point is, graded schools were to be established in the hierarchy as universities, college, high schools, middle school, and the primary schools. And the next point is, English was recommended as the medium of instruction for higher studies and Indian languages or vernaculars at the school level. And the next point is, emphasizing was given on female and vocational education on the teachers' training. Education imparted in government institution was to be secular. A system of grants and aid was recommended for the institutions that satisfied certain conditions to encourage private enterprises. And the last point is, universities were to be set up in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras. See, now I'm going to explain the measures of the Wood's dispatch. See, for expanding control over all matters regarding education department, like इन सब के लिए ये Wood's dispatch जो था ना, ये बनाया गया था. According to it, the system of school administration was totally changed. Vernacular schools in primary level and English medium schools and colleges at higher level was established. System of university education began to be set up. By 1857, universities were begun established in Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, on the based on अ, विदेशों में जैसे यूनिवर्सिटीज़ थी ना, उसी तरह की यूनिवर्सिटीज़ जो थी ना वो इंडिया में बनाना स्टार्टअप किया गया. टेक्निकल कॉलेजेस फॉर वोकेशनल एजुकेशन बिगेन टू बी established. Teachers recruitment become a well organized procedure and training institutions began to set up in all over India. See here students, the idea and the methods of Wood's dispatch dominated the field for 5 decades, which saw rapid westernization of the education system in India, with educational institutions run by European headmasters and principals. Principals कौन थे? या लाइक यूरोपियन हेडमास्टर्स, ठीक है, वही इस पोस्ट पे थे. मिशनरीज एंटरप्राइजेस प्लेड एन इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट इन दिस. Gradually, private Indian educational institutions appeared in the field in 1857. Universities at Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, Chennai were set up, and later Department of Education was established in all provinces. See students, after 1854, the company decided to improve the system of vernacular education. Okay, teachers were asked to improve their standard of teaching. They were supposed to given periodic reports and also to take classes as per the regular timetable. New rules were made regarding the payment, regular fee, attendance in class, fixed seating, system of discipline. Grants were given to those pathshalas which accepted the new rules, while the other were not given government grants. Like काफ़ी सारे changes कर दिए गए थे. Principals, पावर्स जो थी वो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के ही हाथ में थी, ब्रिटिशर्स के हाथ में थी. काफ़ी सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ जो थी वो स्टैब्लिश की गई. ओके, सो दीज after 1858. So our first topic is Hunter Commission. In 1882, the government appointed a commission under the chairmanship of William Wilson Hunter to review the progress of education in the country since the Woods Dispatch of 1854. The Hunter Commission mostly confined its recommendation to the primary and secondary education. The next 2 decades saw rapid growth and expansion of secondary and collegiate education, with the participation of Indian universities were set up like the Punjab University and Allahabad universities. See students, the Indian Education Commission of 1882, gradually known as the Hunter Commission, was appointed by Lord Ripon to review the progress of education in the country since the dispatch of 1854. So W. Hunter was its president. Who is the president? Hunter. Another reason for the appointment of the commission was the propaganda carried on by the missionaries in England that the education system of India was not being conducted in accordance with the policy laid down in Wood's dispatch. Mainly Hunter Commission की recommendations क्या थी? Interested with the management of primary school, private enterprises in the field of education should be encouraged. This means that the government should maintain only a few colleges, secondary school and other essential institutions, and the rest of the field should be left to private enterprises. यानी सरकार जो है ना वो कुछ ही स्कूल्स को बनाएगी, ठीक है, बाकी जो प्राइवेट स्कूल्स और बड़े बड़े कॉलेजेस हैं उनकी अथॉरिटी, उनका राइट किसके पास रहेगा? यूरोपियन कंपनीज यानी ब्रिटिशर्स के पास. द लोकल बोर्ड शुड बी एम्पावर्ड टू लेवी कैश फॉर एजुकेशनल पर्पस, द स्प्रेड ऑफ फीमेल एजुकेशन. These recommendations along with other of the commission were accepted by the government and implemented. ठीक है, these are the recommendations according to the Hunter Commission. Okay, let's move to another topic, that is Riley High Commission. The Riley High Commission was set up in 1902. It was set up to suggest measures to improve the conditions of Indian universities. Basically, इंडियन यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की जो कंडीशन थी ना उनके डेवलपमेंट और इम्प्रूवमेंट के बारे में रिले हाई कमीशन जो था वो बनाया गया बेस्ड ऑन इट्स रिकमेंडेशन. क्या रिकमेंडेशन थी? द इंडियन यूनिवर्सिटी एक्ट वाज पास्ड in 1904 under the leadership of Lord Curzon. The nationalists condemned the act for increased government control over the university. ठीक है, हंटर कमीशन और वुड्स डिस्पैच के अकॉर्डिंग क्या था? हंटर कमीशन के अकॉर्डिंग क्या था? गवर्नमेंट का जो इंटरफेरेंस है ना वो कम होगा, प्राइवेट ओनर्स, प्राइवेट स्कूल्स ये ज़्यादा होंगे. बट रिले हाई कमीशन ने क्या किया? यूनिवर्सिटीज़ और जो स्कूल्स हैं वो ज़्यादा किसके कंट्रोल में रहे? गवर्नमेंट के कंट्रोल में. दे सॉ इट एन अटेम्प्ट टू रिस्ट्रिक्ट एजुकेशन एंड टू डिसिप्लिन द एजुकेशन टू शो लॉयल्टी टू द गवर्नमेंट, यानी of education. Mahatma Gandhi and the Indian National Congress thought that Western education had created a gulf between the education and educated few and the masses. The Congress organized a national conference on education in October 1937. When? On October 1937 in Warda. In light of the Warda scheme of the basic education, the Zakir Hussain Committee formulated a detailed national scheme on basis of education. The main principle behind this scheme was learning through activity. It was based on a Gandhian idea published in the series of articles in the weekly Harijan. गांधी जी ने ना इंडियन एजुकेशन पे बेस्ड एक आइडिया दिया था. दैट आइडिया इज कॉल्ड नाय तलीम. इट इज़ नॉट मेंशन इन योर बुक बट आई एम गोइंग टू एक्सप्लेन यू. सी, like many Indian thinkers were dissatisfied with the education system introduced by the British. Like Mahatma Gandhi argued that the colonial education created a sense of inferiority in the minds of Indians, who began to consider Western education as superior. He believed that English education destroyed the pride of Indian in their own culture and enslaved the Indian mindset. He wanted an education system which could help Indians win their lost sense of dignity and self-respect. He introduced the concept of Naya Talim in education, which focused on the basic education for everyone. Mahatma Gandhi argued that Western education focused on reading and writing rather than oral knowledge. Textbooks were more valued than experience and practical knowledge. He believed that the new system did not focus on developing students. Etc. should be included in the curriculum. See students, आप लोग आज का जो एजुकेशन पैटर्न देख रहे हैं ना, हम लोगों ने सीखा ब्रिटिश टाइम पीरियड से ही है. कुछ अच्छी बातें भी थी, डिसिप्लिन, रूल्स, रेगुलेशंस, ये सब हमने सीखा. बट वी वांटेड टू अडॉप्ट द लाइक वेस्टर्न एजुकेशन, बट वी डोंट वांट टू लाइक हम लोग अपनी एजुकेशन नहीं भूल सकते थे. तो महात्मा गांधी ने एक ऐसा पैटर्न बनाया. महात्मा गांधी का मानना था कि लाइक सिर्फ टेक्स्ट बुक, किताबी नॉलेज ये इनफ नहीं है. ठीक है, लाइक नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट, अपना कल्चर, अपने वैल्यूज़, अपनी डिग्निटी, अपना प्राइड, ये भी हमें ध्यान में रखते हुए चलकर एजुकेशन लेना चाहिए. हर बच्चा, हर सिटीज़न सिर्फ बुकिश नॉलेज में एक्सपर्ट नहीं होगा. कोई फिजिकली स्ट्रांग होगा, कोई स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छा होगा, ठीक है, कोई को करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ में होगा. तो वी वांट सच टाइप ऑफ एजुकेशन. गांधी जी के इस आइडिया को हमने नाम दिया था नाय तलीम. आई थिंक जो हम आज भी फॉलो करते हैं. हमारी स्कूल में लाइक स्पोर्ट्स भी होते हैं. लाइक आज के पैटर्न में CBSE हो, RBSE हो या कोई भी इंटरनेशनल बोर्ड्स हो, वहाँ पर स्टूडेंट्स को सिर्फ नॉलेज या मार्क्स के अकॉर्डिंग नहीं जज किया जाता. उसका हिडन टैलेंट, लाइक चाहे ड्राइंग हो, म्यूज़िक हो, स्पोर्ट्स हो, ठीक है, हम हर तरह से एक स्टूडेंट को जज करते हैं. ओके, हम लोग हमारे पुराने कल्चर, हमारा वैल्यू, हमारी डिग्निटी, जो हमारी हिस्ट्री है, ग्लोरीफाइड डिग्निफाइड हिस्ट्री है, हम उसको साथ में लेके चलते हैं. क्यों इम्पॉर्टेंट है ये आज? हिस्ट्री तो पास्ट में जा चुकी है ना. वाई इट इज़ स्टिल एडेड इन योर सिलेबस? ताकि आपको आपका जो कल्चर है, आपका पुराना, आपके जो वैल्यूज़ है, जो एथिक्स है, जो हमारी डिग्निटी है, वो हमें याद रहे, हम उसी चीज़ को अपने माइंड में लेकर चलें. सो दैट्स वाई गांधी जी के अकॉर्डिंग इस तरह की एजुकेशन इंडिया में होनी चाहिए. ओके, so let's move to another topic on page number 58, that is limitations of British policies of the education. The British wanted to use modern education to strengthen the foundations of their political authority in India. Mass education was neglected, leading widespread literacy. This created a wide linguistic and cultural gulf between the education and the few masses. See here, point number 2. The traditional system of Indian learning gradually declined after 1844 when it was declared that applicants for government employment should possess knowledge of English. And the next point, education of women was highly neglected. No universities for girls had been set up till 1916. In fact, only a handful of women could read and write. Another point, the British followed the downward filtration theory, where they believed that educating a few Indians would enable them to educate the masses, but in practice, this never worked. And the last point, there were no sort of scientific or technical education for the Indians under the British rule. See students, these points shows some of the drawbacks of some of the limitations of British education policies. क्या थी वो? Like, see, people become aware that they were started criticizing the who would employ the company administration. Education to the mass was neglected. About 90% of Indians remained illiterate. It created a class of Indian who became the supporters of the British as they had benefited from this education. This is the only purpose of Britishers जो कि इंडिया में इंडियंस को इस अपने इस बेनिफिट के लिए इंडियन पीपल को एडुकेट करना चाहते थे. ठीक है, उनका बाकी कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं था, ना तो वुमेंस डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर, ना ही इंडियन कल्चर को लेकर. दे जस्ट ओनली थिंक अबाउट देमसेल्व्स. Okay, let's move to another topic, that is growth of national education. See here students, during the first quarter of the 20th century, Indian nationalist leader formed a National Council of Education to work on the strategy for imparting education to all sections of the society. As part of the strategy, they set up the national schools, colleges like, see, there are so many schools and colleges was established. As part of the strategy, they set up national schools and colleges like National Muslim University at Aligarh, that is Vishwa Bharati University at Shanti Niketan by Rabindranath Tagore, and Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Some important and prominent national education institutions were also set up in different parts of India. See students, new education policy and reform measures promoted Oriental learning. However, vast masses remained illiterate for lack of funds. There was also a question for maintaining certain standards for education. The student became aware of the message of freedom fighters. The freedom fighters set up national schools and national colleges like Vidyapeeths at Banaras and Ahmedabad. Like different kinds of colleges are also there, like establishment of Vishwa Bharati universities, Shanti Niketan by Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, like the format of Naya Talim started by Mahatma Gandhi and Zakir Hussain introduced a new system of education. It sought to eradicate illiteracy and help to raise awareness amongst Indian people. ठीक है, यानी कि अब इंडियंस ने खुद के बारे में सोचा कि हमें एक ऐसी एजुकेशन चाहिए जो एंटायर इंडिया में इक्वली स्प्रेड आउट हो, इक्वली लोगों को नॉलेज दे, एंटायर इंडिया का डेवलपमेंट हो, ना कि कुछ एक इंडियंस का. ठीक है, तो देयर आर सो मेनी कॉलेजेस एंड यूनिवर्सिटीज वर एस्टैब्लिश्ड इन इंडिया. सी हियर, like the first Central Hindu schools in Banaras established by Annie Besant, Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College in Aligarh established by Syed Ahmad Khan, and the next is like National Muslim University in Aligarh established by Syed Ahmad Barawali, New English School in Bombay founded by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, National Council of Education in Calcutta established in the year of 1906 with Aurobindo Ghosh as the principal, and at last the first women university established in, that is Karve in Pune in 1916. So let's move to another topic, that is establishment of universities. यहाँ पे दो important universities at Baroda, present day in Vadodara, was the first visualized by Dr. Jackson when as principal at the Baroda College in 1908. He advocated the establishment of Science Institute on improved and independent basis. In 1916, again in 1919, Review Committee recommended setting up a civic university at Baroda. In 1926, the Baroda University Commission was appointed, which submitted its report in 1929. Finally, the Baroda University was approved by the Legislative Assembly in 1949. एक और रीज़न था बड़ौदा में यूनिवर्सिटी सेटअप करने का. द रीज़न इज़ कि बड़ौदा लाइक सेनिक ब्यूटी, एनवायरनमेंट, ठीक है, डेवलपमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग बहुत सूटेड था यूनिवर्सिटी बनाने के लिए. बड़ौदा का कल्चर भी बहुत डिग्निफाइड रहा है, बड़ौदा की हिस्ट्री भी. सो दैट्स वाई बड़ौदा में एक काफ़ी अच्छी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी स्टैब्लिश की गई थी. ओके, सो लेट्स मूव टू द अनदर टॉपिक, दैट इज़ यूनिवर्सिटी एट अलीगढ़. Okay, before starting this topic, let me tell you something about Baroda. See, Baroda, now Vadodara, is in Gujarat, is known for its great Maharaja, that is Sayaji Rao University. Baroda is situated on the bank of river, that is Vishwamriti, whose name is derived from a great saint Rishi Vishwamitra. It has a rich historical background also. The erudite historian can trace Baroda's accession of Maharaja Sayaji Rao III in 1875. It was an era of great progress and constructive educational institutions, and its masterpiece of architecture to the insight the vision of great ruler. ये भी एक reason था, because this area is best suited to set up an educational university over there. ओके इसलिए वहाँ पर एक ये बड़ौदा बड़ी सी यूनिवर्सिटी बनाई गई. सो लेट्स मूव टू द अनदर टॉपिक, दैट इज यूनिवर्सिटी एट अलीगढ़. See, the university grew out the effort of Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, who is the aftermath of the Indian Rebellion 1857, felt that it was important for Muslims to receive modern education and become involved in the public life of the government service of India at the time. Sir Syed Ahmed began to prepare a roadmap for the formation of Muslim university by starting various schools. See, in 1864, the Scientific Society of Aligarh was set up to disseminate Western work into the Muslim community and introduce them to Western education. See here, students. In 1857, he founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College in Aligarh and structured the college after Oxford and Cambridge universities that he had visited on a trip of England. His objective was to build a college to tune with the British education system but without compromising on its Islamic values. A school of girls was also established in 1907. By 1920, the college was transformed into a university and it was named Aligarh Muslim University. What was the name has given? Aligarh Muslim University. The first chancellor of the university was a lady, that is Sultan Shah Jahan Begum. In 1927, a school for the blind was also established, and in the following year, the medical school was established with the university. By the end of the 1930s, the university had also developed an engineering facility. See, students, like Aligarh, a prominent town in Uttar Pradesh, is known for the Aligarh Muslim University, modeled on the lines of University of Cambridge. It was the first institute of higher education set up in Britain, India. Okay, सर सैयद अहमद ने लाइक कैम्ब्रिज और ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को विजिट किया और सोचा कि इसी तरह का मॉडर्नाइज कॉलेज यूनिवर्सिटी जो है वो इंडिया में बनाया जाए ताकि जो मॉडर्न एजुकेशन पे बेस्ड हो. बट सेम जैसा कि गांधी जी सोचते थे कि हिंदूज अपने वैल्यूज़ ना भूलें, ही ऑल्सो थिंक कि मुस्लिम जो है वो अपना इस्लामिक वैल्यूज़ ना भूलें. इसको साथ में लेकर चलते हुए दे लर्न मॉडर्न एजुकेशन. द यूनिवर्सिटी वॉज द ब्रेन चेन ऑफ सर सैयद अहमद खान, हु फेल्ट दैट इट वॉज इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर मुस्लिम्स टू गेन मॉडर्न एजुकेशन फॉर बिकमिंग इन्वॉल्व इट इन पब्लिक लाइफ एंड टू एंटर द गवर्नमेंट सर्विस इन इंडिया. ओके, सी, he began to prepare a roadmap for the formation of Muslim university by starting various schools. In 1864, Scientific Society of Aligarh was also set up to disseminate Western work into native languages as to prepare the community to accept Western education. So Sayyid Ahmad also founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, and the college was originally affiliated with the Calcutta University and was transferred to Allahabad University in 1885. He began published his own magazine also, and so many schools were set up for the development of schools also for the girls, especially for girl child. In 1927, a school for the blind was also established, and the following year, a medical school was attached to the university. By the end of the 1930s, the university had also developed its engineering faculty. During the partition, this university was widely believed to be the university that created Pakistan. See students, now our chapter is completed. ये एक आपको पिक्चर दिख रहा है. You saw this picture? कि लाइक उस टाइम में जहाँ वुमेंस के बारे में सोचा तक नहीं जाता था, वुमेंस को पढ़ने तक का हक नहीं था, शी इज़ द ओनली लेडी जिन्होंने संस्कृत को पढ़ना और लिखना सीखा. एंड ऑन दैट टाइम हिंदू कल्चर में द ओनली मेंस हैव द राइट टू लर्न एंड राइट संस्कृत लैंग्वेज. बट इस लेडी ने, इन्होंने लाइक ये बहुत विडो हो गए थे, बहुत अर्ली मतलब यंग एज में ये विडो हो गई थी. उसके बाद इन्होंने एजुकेशन लिया स्पेशली इन द फील्ड ऑफ संस्कृत और बहुत अच्छा नॉलेज लिया. और वुमेंस के लिए एक एग्जाम्पल है ये लेडी. इन्होंने काफ़ी सारे लाइक विडोज़, जो लेडी है विडो लेडी के लिए काफ़ी सारे आश्रम्स वगैरह बनवाए, उनके लिए काफ़ी स्टैंड लिया. एंड शी इज़ ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट एग्जाम्पल इन द फील्ड ऑफ वुमेन डेवलपमेंट. So our chapter is completed now. Okay, we have in the next video we all have to continue with the question answers. Our chapter is completed now. अब हम इस chapter के question answers करेंगे. So till then enjoy your day and good day and go through with the chapter very deeply. अच्छे से पढ़िएगा आप लोग, ध्यान से समझिएगा. Till then enjoy your day and good day.